Hello, everybody. My name is Saeed, and I'm very happy with myself. So I went out and I stood for an hour and a half in my town's local shopping center, uh, in three different spots. And I stood out there with my petition and my flyers and my sign, and I raised my voice, uh, in order to try to get people to sign the petition to support a ban on gas-powered leaf blowers in my town, and I sported my sunglasses. Um, and I'm wearing the sunglasses now because I just like wearing them. It's become kind of a thing. I'm 34 years old, and before my friend kind of gave me these, and until a couple of months ago, I was not wearing them at all. I had never worn sunglasses in my life. And now I realize I really like wearing them to the point where sometimes I even wear them in the dark. Like when I'm in New York City, I'm walking down the street and it's dark. I still wear them. I'm not going to tell you the reason. Maybe some, maybe at some point I will tell you the reason, but they really work well in this context. When I'm out there trying to get signatures, trying to raising my voice, because I have to stand. Unfortunately, I have to stand a bit of away from, you know, they, uh, they don't let you, I actually got, at first, so let me tell you what happened. So I got to the Target, I was going to do this in front of a Target, right? Um, so so I got to the Target. A few minutes later, one of those, not a car, but one of those like police golf carts rolls by. And he sees the sign and he asks me what I'm doing. And I just tell him what I'm doing. And he tells me to just not block the sidewalk. And I tell him, cool, I'm standing right here. And he's like, okay, everything's fine. But then I don't know how many minutes later, like maybe 20, 25 minutes later, 30 minutes later, I don't know. The Target manager comes out and tries to say that I can't stand there and I can't stand in front of the windows because it's private property. Um, don't get me started on private property. Um, don't get me started on private property. I'm trying to stand in a place and she tells me I can't solicit. And I tell her I'm not soliciting. I'm not selling a product. I'm trying to get people to sign a petition that is specifically related to, and also try to, and this is where people go, and people go to shopping centers. It's the place where you can try to, it's the place where you can try to get the most signatures. It was much more productive than canvassing, going around people's houses, and also much more enjoyable than what I did 2 weeks ago, which was canvassing, going around people's houses. But she tells me I can't stand there. I tell her I just talked to the police officer. He said he looked at me, he saw where I was standing. Still tells me that I can't stand near the door. I'm adamant, so I remain where I am. She goes back inside. About 5 minutes later, I think maybe a more senior manager comes out. I'm not sure. She tells me that I can't stand there. That's private property. I can't stand in front of the windows. Can't stand like whatever in front of the windows. She points where I can stand, which is in front of some bushes, which is far away from, I would have to shout very loudly in order for people going into the Target be able to hear me. And also a lot of people who are going into the Target are not passing the sidewalk where I would be standing at that point. So, I mean, but she tells me if I don't move, she's going to issue a verbal summons. And then if I don't respond to that, she's going to call the police again. So I don't really want to confront the police again. Although I didn't really confront him the first time. He kind of just, he let me be. They let me be. The target people wouldn't. So I said, fine, you want me to go over there? And I said, fine, I'll go over there. So I went over there, and it wasn't a very effective place to canvas. I mean, it wasn't a very effective. I stood there for like 5 minutes. I determined, no, this isn't very effective. Like, there aren't many people passing here. In order to speak to the people going into the target, I have to shout very loudly, even though I am not, obviously, this entire time, I am raising my voice. So it's fine. So then I moved to another spot, which I'm not sure about, and I'm not going to say what spot I moved to on here. I'm just going to tell you I moved to a different spot. It was a better spot. More people were, it was more like a, no, I'm not going to say it, but it was a better spot. Um, and it was a better spot. More people were walking through that spot, and so that was better. Then I moved from that spot to even what I think was an even better spot. No one moved me from that spot. I moved myself after, I don't know, a while. And then I moved to another spot, and I stood there for a while. Um, Actually, I got one signature in each spot. It was interesting. So I got one signature in all the three spots that I was in. So I got three signatures. I spent about an hour and a half. Um, Remember, the petition is only for town residents. So the fact that, I mean, probably I would guess probably, I don't know how many people heard me speak. I don't know. Maybe, I don't want to overestimate. I don't know. Maybe for an hour and a half of being out there, I don't know. Maybe it could have been 100 people. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's an overestimate. I didn't really count. But I got three signatures. Remember, the petition is only for town residents. So, you know, I figure that's not bad. It's better than the two signatures or the one signature I got spending 4 hours canvassing houses 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Um, so this was more productive than that. But what was more fun was just like, you know, being out there, raising my voice for an issue I care about that affects me, wearing my sunglasses, um, performing at times, getting effusive a little bit, um, getting into that mode of I'm here, I have something to say, I want your support. I'm also trying to organize people to go to the town council meetings. Like if 15 to 20 people show up public comment periods, I think, um, I think we can get this ban passed. This ban on gas-powered leaf blowers and the awful noise pollution that they produce. As I was walking home, I heard like two leaf blowers. They're very far from my house, but you can. There's just their noise just pervades the whole atmosphere, and it's so despicable that they've been allowed to persist for so long. That these products even came onto the market in the first place, um, and that they were never tested, that they were never their effects. But that's capitalism. We live under capitalism, so you know people have to fight for basic dignity, basic freedom. As I stated in the speech I made in the first video on this campaign, and that's the way it is. And I wish it were different, but it's not different. But also, I look forward to this journey. Um, and I look forward to sharing it, continuing to share it with you. Um, some people were not residents of the town, but they told me they supported the cause. Some people live in nearby towns where the problem is just as bad. Um, uh, and yeah, um, think that's all I have to say for now. My name is Saeed, and I'm signing off.